Chinese Americans and Sinophobia. The Page Act of 1875 was the first major immigration law in the United States that nearly completely banned Chinese women immigrants. The Page Act, aimed against Chinese and other Asians, was passed after a national discussion over the Chinese question. It was necessary for women to demonstrate that they were not prostitutes, causing a decline in the immigration of Chinese women. The cartoon shows a woman who symbolizes the U.S., where she sympathizes for Chinese immigrants because of the persecution and discrimination that they face from white Americans and also immigrants such as the Irish and the Germans. Discrimination. Most Chinese women were considered immoral, therefore scapegoated and accused of spreading STDs. The Page Act's long-term impact demonstrates how legislation in the U.S. has exploited against Asian women, and how the authority, which is made up of wealthy white men, have the power to assess Asian women's character. Chinese women were subjected to discrimination based on their perceived sexuality. They were feared to corrupt society by marrying white men and cause a rise in the non-white population. Because businesses profited from Chinese men's cheap labor, politicians were hesitant to restrict their immigration, so they focused on Chinese women. The idea was to keep Chinese population in America low by prohibiting Chinese males from bringing their families or beginning new ones. These rules are founded on sexist and stereotyped perceptions of the morality of women, Chinese women in particular. The photo shows Chinese women and their stereotypical role in the household. The Chinese Exclusion Act of 1882 suspended Chinese immigration and declared Chinese immigrants ineligible for naturalization. Many white Americans attributed economic ills to Chinese workers as they grew success in the railroads and other harsh labors. Discrimination increased in the 1870s because white laborers began to fear they would lose their jobs. There were no restrictions on immigration from Europe at the time, but yet Chinese immigrants were not allowed to naturalize. The American Dream. Promises of quick wealth in California attracted immigrants, and the Chinese experience in America, which began with their gold desires. This changed as they encountered mostly hardship and persecution. Most Chinese men struggled with a low wage and were unable to bring their families to the U.S., and Chinese Americans were only able to find comfort after struggle, segregation, and slow progress over the years. The photo shows a Chinese man standing outside the Gate of Liberty, which is America, trying to have a better life, but discriminated, which shows the American dream is only for specific people such as the white population. Thank you for watching.